Yeah, so I'm David Clements. I'm based in Glasgow, Scotland. I'm currently in an academy level within Scotland, currently doing my UFA license. Speaking to Juan, who's in Perth, is that correct?
Yeah, so I'm in close to Perth. I'm based in Basildon. It's 2 hours and a half furthest on the southwest.
Excellent. So how did you arrive in that role that you're in today then?
Yeah, so as you could see here, I'm originally from Argentina. Started coaching more than 20 years ago, 1999, in Argentina. Then I went a little bit to Cuba and coached under 20. And 2007, I think it's almost when you say that you were traveling overseas and going to New Zealand, Australia. 2007, I went to New Zealand to work for a club there, and then went to 3 clubs. Then a federation. 2013, went to Germany, and then came back. I was a National Women's League head coach for 2 years, and then I was the development officer for a while. But so almost over 5 years, and yeah, end of the 2018, an opportunity came up. I have a few contacts in this way, close to Perth, now in Basildon. I applied and did a Zoom meeting. No, it was not Zoom meeting. Was the other meeting before? Anyway, something like online. And then yeah, I got the position. I never been to Western Australia, and many people. It's a beautiful place.
Yeah.
Melbourne, Sydney, and then yeah, just arrived in Perth. I was there 1 week. The main office is in Perth for Football West, and then I moved down here in the southwest a week later, and then kind of I did have an idea, I did my research, but I was never physically in Western Australia. It's a beautiful place.
Okay, so when you first moved from Argentina to New Zealand and Germany and then back to then to Australia, what kind of qualifications did you need to obtain, or did they look for someone with experience first?
Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, and also it's something that people sometimes ask. I probably ask you too as well about the qualification and have a license or no license. When I went first to New Zealand, I'm a PE teacher and I have a master's degree in high performance in sport.
Okay.
And I did play in a professional club in Argentina until the age of 18. And I did have qualification from the Argentinian association, but not from New Zealand. And then later on, the minimum qualification is C license, or equivalent to the UEFA C license or whatever the association is. And many times it's about that experience, about coaching development, play development, coaching education, support clubs, skills with management, almost like a multitask person. I remember when I first went to New Zealand, my friend Alejo said to me, okay, so in New Zealand, you need to go mark the pitch, get the ball, take the cross, and score a goal. So pretty much you need to be proactive. You know, there are a lot of volunteer people, but the clubs, even almost the professional football clubs, they are semi-professional. So there are a lot of people helping on a volunteer basis when Scotland, Argentina, Germany, England. Yeah. The whole structure is all professional. So you really need to be proactive for things to happen. So it was I was kind of ready for that. But you only are ready when you are, on day by day job of doing different things. But yeah, it is rewarding too. But yeah, sometimes it's quite a lot.
And that experience in New Zealand, do you think helped to get your step towards the role you're in just now with the West?
Yeah, Yeah, I guess everything is always help if you want to learn and you want to develop. My case, I a strong believer of yes, the license are good, but also it's about all the skills that we are not very good, and by hiding, we are not doing any good to us. So, like for example, they pretty much talk, video yourself, analyzing yourself, have time, the way we present, the way we talk, the way we coach. So it's all through the years. I'm doing the A license in 2017 in New Zealand when there were Danny Hayes, the Overwatch coach, and Les Buckingham, he's in Melbourne Victory, all different people that they were with you at the course or they were presenting, and they were talking other things. I'm like, I don't really know about that much about that. So I guess it's almost like if you're talking about layers, it's just building up your knowledge about. At the beginning, maybe you think it's all about I'm running the sessions, I'm doing this, so it's almost like you are a person running, and then the more you understand about coaching and development, it's more almost you see from the top, and I help that person. Do they really need help for me to come in and help? I come in and help, but with the time, it's almost like a friend, say, we went to Italy and they learned from Antonio how to make pizza, and they learn on the 200 grams of this and whatever, and then the lady, when Maria did the pizza, oh, no, the pizza, what? It's not like that, and then Antonio said, but the difference is here, the difference here, say, a little salt, a little cheese, and that honey is the difference. So for us, too, as a coach, that difference of, I don't have many white hair, a few, that my friend would say the Spain have with white hair. So I guess all that together will allow you to get into that, the football weight position.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's a very good point because when you work with children or adults, whoever, when you get the experience, you're not there to coach 12 footballers. You're there to coach 12 individuals who have different learning needs. They react different. They learn different. So I think with that experience you talk about, it really helps you. You have to coach this way, whereas sometimes the coaching courses can make robots who don't know how to treat the individual rather than just you know.
Yeah,
So
and also is I guess, well, personally, that's why I coach, because it's a mix of everything through the years. The German style, Argentina style, the New Zealand style, the Belgian style, the Cuban style, the New Zealand, the Australian, and it's kind of all mixed. But in me, I like to coach this way, and through the years I develop and I become better. And then when people say, I do follow, the guidelines of what Football Federation Australia wants, but it's with my touch as well, because it's not like you say, if it was a robot, well, I don't want to be a robot, and I don't want to be the coach to be robots, and the players as well. We want creative players that learn and they develop. So
yeah, no, that's I think it's really important now about the robot coach. So yeah, in the current role, what would you say is the best thing you like about the role? Enjoyment or?
yeah, I guess what I love, probably like you, David, is coaching football every day. Since 1999, I was studying and I have 7 part-time positions and become a PE teacher full-time, and then the master. I was everything I want when I finished all the study after 7 years was just to work in football. So today I went to a prize giving, talking to the coaches, to the players, and then yesterday was about coaching development. The other day was about player development and coaching development. Then on the weekend, last week, it was about a course, so assisting and delivering a course or helping the clubs about that. maybe at the beginning I didn't like it much about that strategic planning and all the structure and whatever. But the more you work in the profession and you see that they are not professional clubs, they are not professional organizations, they need that foundation to or we're going to do this because of this and this and this, and then it's kind of building that structure for other people to see and look and understand what we're doing, because sometimes it is here and we know what we're doing, but other people outside the association or the the federation, they understand what are you doing, and if you say because we are doing this and this, where is the plan? If no plan, if no structure, if not nothing there, so you do really need to spend time on those things that we as a coach we want to be outside, perfect, but also it's we need to spend time on that. And also I kind of, from the to-do coach and always running and you doing, then you understand and you look a little more from the top and say, oh yeah, this is important. So I do enjoy that as well. Of course, coaching football outside and coaching education, I love that. I could do that.
Yeah, same for me. So within Australia, talking about the football, you worked with a lot of community kids as well as youths that are developing within football. What would you say are the main strengths and trends within football in development? Would it be technical, psychological? Because I did some coaching in Japan. My wife is Japanese, so I did some coaching in Japan, and when I seen maybe 40 kids, the technique at the age group from under 9, under 10 was phenomenal. But when they stepped into do game type scenarios such as 3 versus 4 or 3v3, there was no structure to what they have learned. It was chaos. So I think in Japan, for me, the technical ability of the kids, what they have learned is phenomenal. But I think maybe just that academy, there was a big part missing, their knowledge of the game tactically. So what would you say in Australia, the kids, the strong point is technical or?
Yeah, definitely. I think I don't want to offend the Kiwi kids, but the Kiwi kids are also the underdogs. They only got 4 million, so the Kiwi kids are always up there for the challenge. But the Australian the kids is a much bigger country, one of the biggest countries in the world, and they are really competitive. Australians are really competitive. Physically, they're strong, and then mentally tough as well, of course. Now everything is a little more easy in general, so mental strength, it is a weakness I've seen in general in the world everywhere with laptop and computers and whatever, and people not talking to each other. So definitely I would say those two things are really strong from the Australian players in general. Definitely technically it is not, it could be much better. So you see maybe they play with more potential, playing more football, touching the ball, going to the park and kicking the ball around, but you don't see them as much as will be, in the football nation like Argentina, Scotland, Germany, Belgium, where the kids are playing football all day. So the technical ability, it is a lack. And the game understanding, like you say as well, because they don't watch football, they don't breathe football. So an example, I remember when I was 8, 9, going and watch my home country, the team I play, River Plate, at the top, San Martin, so the 80,000 people at the Monumental. I was an old guy in front of me, like, oh, look what this guy is doing. And I was like talking to my dad, what he's talking about? My dad was talking about this. So things like that, it's a great example for you, or going into a bar or whatever. People in Argentina, we say we all football coaches. So
Yeah.
talking about the game, and you are learning by watching, because no, you're not only watching, but you're also learning from other people what they're saying about the game.
Yeah.
And then you go and play football, then you go play football, and then you watch football alone. So that learning is all the time just learning, taking information, processing the information, asking for feedback, and it's you that you want to know more. And when there are no football, people don't go watch live football games. When Australia qualified for the World Cup, but in Argentina, when Argentina play, everything stopped. No school, everything closed. No, in town is thousands of cars, no train, no bus, nothing. Everyone must watch the game. So that game understanding and the knowledge help a lot by watching. Doesn't mean if you watch football, I watch football all day, it should be Maradona, Messi. I'm not. But definitely will help you to understand the game. So like you saying in Japan, although Japan it is a football nation, but maybe, I don't know, they don't watch as much football like they do, or they just do. I when I watch River play in 2015, I went to the Yokohama's Marino Academy, and the coach turned around 10, 15 minutes, and they were doing 1-2 touches, combination play, and the kids are like boom, 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 boom. And then here, maybe 2 or 3 minutes, even, don't know, a professional club, they boom, kick the ball or whatever. So, but the players, they are really focused, they like technique, boom, 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 boom. But maybe they shall do it like machines, but they are not thinking, oh, should I play one touch? Should I dribble? Should I do a through ball? Should I go over the top? And it's about that decision when to do it rather than just do it because I said to you to do it. So, no, you know more, you work in Japan.
I think that answers the next question also, because it was to ask what do you think needs improved, but I think you spoke about to watch and learn the game every day within a culture like Argentina or Scotland or the UK, or Germany, where there's football all the time. In Scotland, for example, I think the younger kids don't have the technique early because they're put in the game environment pretty early, and a lot of time they don't get much time on the ball to master the ball, whereas you could see other countries mastering the ball as the foundation before you move to the game. So, but I think when it comes, we're maybe a bit ahead. Kids are in the game experienced a bit earlier than technically. So yeah, I think you answered the question of if something could be improved in Australia, then would be more in the football environment and the culture.
Yeah, saying that, well, when I went to New Zealand in 2007, there were not many clubs having like a full-time program about football, and we introduced a high performance academy, and we were playing football year round. And then 2-3 years there were like 5-6 clubs, and now there are many clubs doing that. And here in Australia, we do that. We have programs all year round with the talented players and the players with potential. So I think that window of winter and summer sport, that football here or New Zealand was supposed to be winter sport, now it's all year round. So that will allow them to be technically better and play more football. It still need to be more work done, but I think they are on the right direction.
Yeah, I think with technique, I think the parents at an early age, the parents of the kids play a really big part. Because when I was younger, probably same for you, same for many children, you went and kicked the ball with your dad or something, or your uncle in the park, and you're playing football all the time, and your parents are there they also have the interest in football, so they're constantly talking about football with you. But maybe there are some countries that are catching up. That's a gap. So I really think the parents play a big part to you can never force your child to like something they don't like, but I think if you're an influence there and you have some knowledge about football, then it's definitely a positive for technique in the early age.
No, that's fair enough. That's true. I always say with my wife, if we did have a kid and didn't play football, I was not my kid.
Yeah, it can be difficult. You know,
That could
one
be,
year it can be football, one year they can play something else.
yeah, that could be.
So yeah, so in terms of coaches and coach education and stuff, which this is what I really like. How is the difference between like coaching in a big city such as Perth on the west, and then you have towns that are maybe a little bit smaller, well, quite a bit smaller, that are further away from where the west office is, and where there's less opportunities, such as in Broome in the northwest. So would you say the coaching, there's a difference to what there is?
Yeah, I guess so. One good thing from Football West, and talking about the structure and the organization, over the last 2 years, they've been having, football development offices, everywhere in the whole Western Australia, in Broome and Peterborough and Albany, Geraldton in the southwest, in Bunbury. So that gap of everything was in Perth, and for example, Broome to Perth is like 18, 20 hours. So it's really far away. Any further up north there, and the Peterborough 20 something hours as well. I guess the biggest challenge, especially up north, is the number of people living there, the number of football people. Up north, Aussie roots is quite huge, Australian football. So it is competition as well, and you don't have numbers. It's more difficult. But I know by fact here in the southwest, in the Leeuwin region, we try to run as many courses, workshops. It is not because I'm saying that, but through research in many different organizations and sports, that all the informal coaching education is more important than the formal, because the formal is about that personalized needs and what the other coach required to become better. When it's like we were talking before about the license, sometimes potentially could be that people think, they put them in a square and then, whatever, I'm going to do this because I think this is better. But if from that they think it's better, you work with them to say, look at this video, that's you coaching. Look at this, what can we do to do better? What about doing this? Oh, good, we could do this. So you already make an impact on that coach to become better. Sometimes when you try to impose something in a course, of course they want to have the license or accreditation, they will do it, but it's not going to be a change. So by doing a mix of formal and informal education, workshops and seminars, I think that's the way to go to improve the culture. So we offer many opportunities, and now 10-4, that is the main season finished. I will focus quite a bit on that personal coaching development, and it's that those skills that the coaches are lacking, like halftime talk and communication, planning the sessions, and be more specific about information we give to the players in our session. So I could talk about this for hours. I'm really passionate about this because, like we were talking before, make the difference. If the people around me are not very good, I'm not very good. If the people around me are good or they are getting better, I'm better. So you are good as the people around you. That's why, winning teams, Champions League, World Cup, whatever, you could see the team around, they are world class, all of them. That's why you need to win, to be successful during the years. You need that winning team all around you, and that's what I'm trying to build in my region. Of course, it's difficult because people have work and a family commitment or whatever, but look after the people that I have with me. Stay them with me and with the football ways for longer, develop them, and then if any new talent coaches with potential, bring them in, and then keep developing that base around, like they say, that circle of influence around me, and then the next circle, and then so the more people you bring in, then the more influence you will have, and of course that circle of influence that is close to you, that you have the most, the least, and the least, but then the people the outside bring them in to make the change.
Yeah, it's it's so simple, but it's true. Competition drives competition, I think, and you learn. You talk about coaching within the circle. If the circle's there and there's quality within the circle, you're going to learn new ideas. I always say about, you can coach for 100 years, you will still learn something on year 101. There's always something new. Although experience is very important, I think no coach knows everything. When speaking about, like, in Broome, for example, competition and talent hopefully makes other people around them better. There's quite, in Kenya, the athletes that run, that do the marathons, quite a lot are from Kenya and this area, because there's so many, it's the number one sport, and there's so many people drive towards. There's so much competition that filters through, and it ends up being people say, why is it always Kenya who are the marathon runners? But this is because there's so many people who focus in, and the best ones go right through, but under the best ones, there's still incredible talent. Yeah, so it's really good, and you would just hope there's more participation in the smaller towns to drive talent. Drive talent.
Yeah, and also that to drive in those kind of countries like Kenya or Argentina, not poor as Kenya, but definitely football players, 90% are from poor background like Teve, Maradona. So the only way to have a better life, the only way is to play football.
Yeah.
But the problem is, there are thousands of kids, they are there playing football, and they are very good. Like I played, we were a group of 30, and only two, well, I didn't make it into the first team, only two of us make it, and any other nation, I'm very sure from those 30, maybe everyone will make it, but the best of the best, one is Marcelo Gallardo, he coached in River Plate, play for Argentina, play in Monaco. And then another Wuhan, he was alright. He played for River Plate and didn't play under 20, but they were superb, And every year you look, the year after was Hernan Crespo, played for Inter Milan, played for Argentina. So it kind of you need to be maybe there are some players, some exceptions. They were good, not exceptional, but then if not, then to come out of any of these teams, you need to be the best of the best. So you don't make it through because of the numbers.
Yeah.
And the quality. No. Yeah. If not, China would be number one in football.
Yeah, well, if they spend so much money to bring in the professional coaches, so yeah, it's a matter of time. I think Japan still has the vision to win the World Cup. I can't remember which year they set a vision, but I think it might have been 50 years or something to have the World Cup by then. But yeah, it's talent drives talent. So, but I think you have to have all aspects, as well as the coaches, which is kind of my next point. When we speak about the coaches, what do they focus on? So there's the more traditional method where there's a line of players and they'll just have a shot at go join the end of the queue, which is not really, it's no good for any development. So what would you say the coaches, they cover most areas of the development of the kids? So do they the warm-ups are correct? You know, do they work on proprioception? Maybe at an older level, like not so much under sevens.
Yeah, I guess that's maybe one of my priorities is to help the coaches to understand, that if you make lines, they are not really perception, they are not really decisions. The way you do it, the execution is not, so you are not really helping player at all. So you are better off just to go and play a game than do lines, because you are not helping the players at all.
Yeah.
So it is a lack of, or will be, I don't know, 30-40% of not so good practice. So try to influence those coaches, or they come to courses and, we talk about the importance of the PD, and always have to be a way of helping the players to make a better decision, help them to understand that process, different ways to, guide the discovery, trial and error. So we cover those kind of ways of coaching and help players in the skill acquisition course, in the youth license, and then what I try to do sometimes with the workshops or the seminar is to take one point from there, and maybe that course is about winning against development. So why coaches should be focused on developing and not winning, or the mental part, how we can help our players, or the communication part. So it kind of try to break down parts, put it into a workshop where we all working together, we're talking about solutions, and then from there, help the players to become better. And me coaching the coaches with them, and then they go on and they can coach 300 players. I can only coach 10, 15 players. So that was the feedback from, if I look back from the beginning when I start coaching to now, I always try to look at the bigger picture of that circle of influence. So they go and influence the people outside.
Yeah, no, it's so important. Last night at training here, we actually spoke about this. There's a line of 10 kids, and they're only going to get one touch on the ball, and that is to shoot. And then they have to go and join the end of the queue. But before that, their warm-up was 5 minutes to run around the pitch. No ball, nothing, no change of direction, no agility, just 5 minutes of running for like under 10. And for me, it was like they've lost so much time where they could be on the football, making decisions, where the coach could have guided discovery, as you said. I think it's really important that this is, it's the new normal to have this coaching in, and traditional methods really, I'm not a fan, but everyone has an opinion.
No, I mean, potentially, in the football nation, I know, and they do it, because every time I go to Argentina Juniors or Banfield clubs, sometimes they do the post-analytic stuff about passing, straight, whatever, but the players play so much football, and they will do it properly, and they do 15, 20 repetitions on that specific technique. It's fine, but if you have a team that train twice a week and under 10, and they are doing already 20, 25 minutes, so half of the practice on unopposed things, that they are not making decisions, they are not helping the players, they are not having a better understanding of the game, you are better off just to do a warm-up with the ball, running around, dribble, whatever, do gates, play a game, maybe with restraints and condition. You are much better off to do that than do big lines and nonsense practice, really, because you are not. When are you going to have a big line behind you, get the ball, take 4 or 5 touches, the keeper not coming out, and then take a shot. Never going to happen. Someone from your own box passing the ball to you, straight, so it's not going to happen ever.
Yeah, no. So it's not very game realistic, but yeah. So just moving on. So the 2023 Women's World Cup. How can that impact the game in Australia?
Yeah, I guess with Matilda's, Sam Kerr went to Chelsea to play over there, and then so many follow up after her. So the women's game is building up big time in Australia. So it is important to have those high profiles, because then a sponsor will come behind, and then the government will come behind. For example, Football West is going to have the home of football for the World Cup in Perth. That we don't have any, but we don't have a home. We don't have a ground to play. And then it will be massive for Australia to host first time ever a major football tournament. I know they were close before for the men's, and sooner or later they're going to get it as well. But I think from everywhere you see, from point of players to look up at Sam Kerr, Carpenter, it's massive, the influence that the World Cup will have, and the closer we get there, then the things will get better and better. And of course, if they do well, quarterfinals or semi-final, then it's even better, because people will talk about that, and you just build that momentum.
Yeah, I think it's very important to have like Sam Kerr. Her face has to be everywhere, on the posters, on the television, to have that role model where girls can look, and it can even influence boys, of course, as well. To have that role model that's there, this could be me. That if I work hard like her, this could be me. And yeah, it's definitely a role model, as you said, and hopefully the sponsors buy into that and get the other women on the team advertised. Do you think they win? Have they got the potential to win the tournament?
Yeah, I mean, Australia won when 2015. They won the Asia Cup in Australia for the first time ever. So that was massive. I mean, you could have luck, I mean, if we think about England, the last World Cup, and I said to all my English friends, although they didn't believe it, you guys have a really good chance to make it into the semi or into the final, because they were on the weakest group. Then you have a round of 16 quite easy. Quarterfinals, they were okay, Sweden. And then semi-final, well, even they were playing well. I don't know what's happened in that game in Croatia, but that game, I thought they were going to win. They did miss 1 or 2 chances. Croatia scored the draw, and then maybe the English players said, no, here we go again, we're out. And then, because the Croatia, they were round of 16, extra time, quarterfinal, extra time, penalties, and then looked like they're going to, but they scored that goal, and then mentally they thought they're going to win it. And then England, they thought they're going to lose again, and they lost. But what I'm saying is that maybe if Matilda's Australia will be top of the group, or one of the head of the groups. So if you have a kind of easy group, maybe on the other side will be definitely USA, the team to beat, USA in the other side. And maybe Germany, Holland, Italy, you will need to beat one of the big nations. Japan is also there, China as well. And if you have maybe USA on the other side, and I don't know, they lost the quarterfinal, semi-final, then you play against rather than USA, Japan or China, you have a good chance. You're playing, your home. So potentially could be, I think for me to win it will be quarterfinals, semi-final, and the dream is to be in the final. That would be just to be in the final, just is a win. But I think definitely quarterfinals, semi-finals, they've never been on the semi-finals, so that would be something awesome for Australia.
Yeah, and of course they've got two big elements to deal with. One is pressure of being the home country, and the second one, which is a pro, would be home support. So there's pressure, but there's also the home support, which I don't think the other countries have that element.
Yeah,
so,
no, yeah.
Yeah, no problem. So do you think there'll be a legacy, moving on to like the future of football in Australia? Hopefully there'll be a legacy left behind from the Women's World Cup. I know if it was the Men's World Cup, with the amount of money that brings in, there would definitely be a legacy. I'm not speaking about stadiums, or because we see what happened in South Africa when there was so much money spent on stadiums, but apparently now they're not used as much. But if there was a legacy from this World Cup, or potentially a Men's World Cup, do you think that the facilities and that legacy would build participation such as to the levels you're working at?
Yeah, I guess the different, without offending South Africa, but the difference is that structure of as a country, and then in football, when Australia is, they always, plan everything. Like, for example, I say about the home of football, they are building that, but then that will be for the World Cup, but then will be Football West, the home of football, the national tournaments, futsal, this and that. So there's already a plan in place for everything they are doing. What are they doing after? It's not the government will not give you money. Forget it. They will not give you money. They say, oh, football will. No, they will say, what are you going to do? In 15, 20 years, we put the money, but you need to show me how many kids are going to play, what are you going to do for the community, are you going to have a park, are you going to have a recreation place, are you going to, even you need to put into which plants are you going to have, are you going to look after the environment, are you going to have native Australian plants, are you going to have all these things, that I even could believe it, but you need to be all. So I think definitely it's going to be some legacy, and also for building up for the Men's World Cup, they will have much better chance. The hardest part in football is about Australia put, I don't know, let's say 20 millions. Qatar, 1 year, 100,000 millions. They bring from Argentina, from Brazil, from Chile, from Germany, England to play against them, and they're building up everything for the World Cup. So it's so hard on development and in football to, especially in the men's, where there's so much money now with players buying and whatever. That you put a little bit, and then they put a lot more money. So it's more about, I don't think so it's so much about the money. It's about that plan, the development, the reassess what you're doing, the impact you're having. But it is a hard one. Football and men's football, it is really hard to compete, and even nations like Holland, with so many great football players, and what they did with Ajax, and then the way they influenced Barcelona and modern football, they never won the World Cup. They never won the World Cup. Yet 78 final, 78 final, 2010 final, and they're all there. But so, and the only 9 nations they won the World Cup. So it is hard. So again, that's why I say about what is winning for Australia. I think semi-final or quarter-final, that will be a winning for the women's, and of course the men's. To get out of the group is almost like a win, because it's always so hard when you are FIFA ranking 30, 40, and you last World Cup, the France, Denmark, and Peru. The other 2010, Holland, Spain, and Chile, that Chile of Bielsa. So how do you get out of the group? Even Argentina will not get out of the last World Cup. We were in that group with Denmark, France, and Peru out. We just scrapped with 4 points to get out of the group. So you know, and I guess the same for Scotland if you qualify for the World Cup.
Yeah, we cannot call it.
Yeah, you
We can
didn't.
never call it.
Yeah, you didn't. But in '98, you have
Yeah.
a really tough group as well. So Italy was in your group, I think, and again Chile, I think. So you need to beat one of the top 10, top 8 nations, and then another one will be 15 as an American team. So it's hard, and then maybe one of the Africans. So it is a hard, but when you are home, it's always home advantage. And if they manage them well, you know, like Korea, Japan, when they beat Italy, Korea, they could play on your way. And again, you know, that Korea semi-final for them is a win. You know, I don't know if they're going to get out of the group again or quarterfinals. So that time it was semi-final, so amazing.
Yeah, I think there's definitely potential, but hopefully what we spoke about earlier, where the World Cup is the boost, which creates more participation, and when we spoke about the competition, the players get better, so they drive each other up. I think that would be the biggest takeaway, hopefully, in terms of the football, to develop the next and influence the next generation to pick up the ball. And that would then again lead to making the government happy, I suppose, if levels of sport went up, then health-wise, you know, and sport development, that would really increase as well.
Yeah, no, exactly what you say. You know, that's why I say that they're going to put money, but they see what you're doing and your plans. So in a way, it's a good way to sense, you know, that they get the money back. Same with the World Cup or whatever, and that's why it would be good if they do well at the women's, because then the men's will say, oh, we did this, we need to rebuild a stadium in Melbourne, Sydney, whatever, we need this, and they're going, yeah, no problem, boom, they put the money. So they trust you on the process of what you want to achieve.
Definitely, and I can see it being harder in Australia than here at Europe or other nations where football is, you know, number one sport. So yeah, I can see why. But yeah, it's been good to talk about the coaching, the grassroots. Yeah, it's been good to speak.
No problem. You're welcome, and yeah, we keep in touch, and maybe hopefully see you in 2 years here in Australia.
Yeah, that's the plan. We're going to try and work. I'm going to try work towards it. So yeah, yeah, and thanks for your time.
You're welcome, David. Take care, and yeah, talk to you soon.
No problem. Stay safe. Thank you.
Bye bye.